Hello again, everybody. Welcome to week 3 of the course here, and so we're entering the halfway point. Some of you are doing real good, others lagging behind a little bit. Uh, Maybe you got obstacles or whatever's causing you to fall behind or not be stay current. So you just need to figure out your own inspiration, as I got a little slide here, and figure out what you need to do to keep yourself going. Um, Another thing, just make sure. You're not trying to do the status quo thing or worrying about what other people think or anything like that. No, from what I've heard over the years, lots of people have negatives in their lives. Sometimes it's themselves, a very negative or pessimistic attitude. Um, but even people with positive attitudes, you have negative influences. People, you know, criticizing you or telling you, asking why you're doing what you're doing, and so forth. So, don't compare yourself to anybody else. Just but figure out. You do have to figure out how to manage your own time. Um, I do harp on the, and I apologize, I harp too much, but uh, managing your own time and making school part of what you do every day versus on a Sunday. And some of you, I can tell some of you do this. You're in there, you know, several times during the week getting things done, but others, you wait till Sunday, and that's not the way to do it because you end up spending a lot more time in the long run, more frustrations and negatives and so forth. So just figure out a way to to do it. You know, I always mention the cup of coffee people. You don't that's something you do every day. Or if you're a parent, you take care of the kids every day. So I always use those analogies. But just figure out what you need to do to where you can get in here every day or every couple of days and spend a little time and be current instead of trying to catch up all the time, playing catch up. So all right, so into the course room. Last week, um, discuss those of you that are in the discussions, very good interaction. The scenarios from last week, we had a couple, three of them. Let me see here. We had I'll bring this over here. The homeworks I've seen so far, like the first one here, human resource manager. Those of you that I've seen had good responses in there, and a lot of this is it's an opinion, but it's also based on the actual law. The second one here about the kiosks in the mall, again, opinion, but at the same time, um, there is the legal aspects from the employer perspective of discrimination, but also from an employee. If as an employee you sign out an application, made yourself available 7 days a week on the application, well then if the shifts change and they need you to work on Saturday or Sunday, um, technically, um, that can't be the reason you quit. But again, that's under the condition that it was specifically laid out. So in some cases, it may not, because some people have two jobs, different things going on, family commitments, and usually employers are pretty agreeable on things like that. But at the same time, you have to make sure it's in writing. Same thing on the scenario 3 here. Um, is there a contract on this marketing thing? Um, again, word of, in business, uh, even though there isn't a contract initially during negotiations, word of mouth is usually pretty unofficially binding. If you go back, if you make a deal with somebody in a conversation, go back a day later and say, hey, I'm going to have to charge $100 more, which is the scenario here, usually that won't fly in business. Salesperson will get, fired or whatever the case is. Um, so legally, yeah, if there's no contract, there's nothing binding. But as a business practice, right versus wrong, or whatever you want to call it, that's something else there. So anyway, so like I said, the ones I've seen, very good. So no issues there. Okay, upcoming week, you got 3 chapters. Chapter 9, contracts, and I just mentioned that, so that's what Chapter 9 covers, basically, is the breach of contracts, reasons to breach a contract. So, if somebody, does something they're not supposed to, that would fall in there. Um, towards some business. Again, same thing. And then on the intellectual property, um, what you're dealing here is, copyrights and things like that. People, every once in a while we'll hear something about some celebrity who, there's always the old Vanilla Ice, intellectual property issue of the song he took from Bowie. And so, those are type of things that you get into in intellectual property. Um, so you got to be careful on that. And all of these interrelate as far as making sure there's contracts, they're understood. And from a business side, just from my own background, you got to make sure, if you're ever going to do your own business in the future, or you're going to be running a business for somebody, you got to make sure you have contracts, whether it be like, sometimes I was involved in building new stores. You got to make sure that you have paper with contractors, like, oh yeah, I'll take care of that, I'll take care of this, and I had an issue with one of the stores when I was in Seattle where, the floor was like going like this, it wasn't even. So, you just got to make sure everything is right. You inspect things. If you don't have a contractor that's agreeable, then you might have to demand, that needs to be fixed. It's part of the deal. So, but you need to make sure, like I said, depending on where your future takes you, that you do have contracts on everything you do, and that it's specific, and there isn't any loopholes or things left out or anything like that. You told me you hired me to build a store for you, but you didn't tell me to put plumbing in. Things like that have happened. So, you need to make sure everything's covered. So, all right. Let's see. Homework. This upcoming homework, same. You got scenarios. You got the quiz, discussion, same thing. Those of you that are in the discussions, you're doing very good. Just make sure you're saying more than a sentence or two. More than a couple of words. Part of the discussion is, you talk back and forth. Like I say, most of you are doing that, so that's good. So, other than that, I'll let you go. And my test question this week is something totally different. No grandkid. I think you're all new to me, so you probably haven't seen this one before. So back in my Army days, let me know what I was doing right here. And this guy right here is me. So, all right, I'll let you go with that. Let's have a good week. As always, get in touch with me if you have any questions or anything. And that'll do it. So take care. Have a great week.